From a teenage YouTuber with big dreams to one of the most hated personalities on the internet. This is the story of Sneako, a creator who had it all and somehow managed to lose it one live stream at a time. Everyone thinks Sneako was always a troublemaker, a provocateur who thrived on stirring chaos, but they forget, before the scandals, the bans, and the Twitter meltdowns, he was different. Sneako was thoughtful, creative, relatable. He could have been the next Casey Neistat of commentary YouTube. Instead, he became a living meme, a warning of what happens when controversy becomes your brand. Sneako, real name Nico Ken DeBalanthese, started uploading videos in 2013 as a teenager. Back then, his style was cinematic and unique. He'd mix social experiments with fast-paced editing, tackling big questions: race, politics, dating, and self-improvement. His breakout moment? Would you say the N-word for $100? A bold social commentary piece that went viral.
One example of a strong role model woman who came up by herself. Women get brought up by a strong man. That's how it works. That's why we're better.
For a while, it felt like Sneako was destined for greatness. He was smart, sharp, and unafraid to say what others wouldn't. But behind that confidence, a dangerous realization was brewing. Outrage equals views. And that realization would change everything. Because the next time Sneako went viral, it wouldn't be for being clever. By the late 2010s, Sneako had established a brand. The guy who keeps it real. He wasn't afraid to roast other creators, call out fake influencers, and speak on taboo subjects. Fans praised him. Sneako says what everyone's thinking, but no one has the balls to say. But
Star sign. What's your star sign? I'm a Capricorn. What are you? Do you think we're compatible? Are we compatible? Are we compatible? What day were you born? What time of day were you born? What's your moon? What's your sun?
There's a fine line between truth teller and professional hater, and slowly, Sneako's content started to cross it. He leaned into shock value. He realized that disagreement was the engine of his success. The more people got mad, the more his name trended. And soon, Sneako would meet someone who'd supercharge this transformation. 2021, Andrew Tate explodes into internet fame, and Sneako becomes one of his loudest defenders. Their shared values: masculinity, truth, and fighting the matrix. Sneako started pushing harder into manosphere talking points, criticizing feminism, attacking weak men, and warning about societal collapse. For Tate's fans, Sneako was the younger, more relatable version of the message. For critics, he was now part of an online pipeline pushing sexism and conspiracy theories to impressionable young men.
The reason that it caught my attention, that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that you can't be funny with no motivation. It has to have some purpose to the message. It can't just be clown behavior, running around like lifting your stomach. You need something about it. Well, shout out to Fresh and Fit, and also I'm still remembering that millionaire party. It's gonna happen maybe.
The Tate Association brought him massive attention, but also massive backlash. And with the attention came the enemies. Because 2022 wasn't just the year Sneako found his new brand, it was the year he started a war with half the internet. If there's one thing Sneako thrived on, it was beef. Destiny, HasanAbi, KSI, Moist Critical, even random TikTok creators. Every week there was a new feud, a new live stream debate, a new L compilation. The most infamous, his public obsession with Moist Critical, which would eventually blow up into one of the internet's funniest creator takedowns.
But he's a fucking imbecile, you absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clips. These are mags. They're mags, not clips, you absolute fucking dummy. The same way that this is also a mag.
For Sneako supporters, this was proof he was fearless, willing to call out anyone. For his critics, it was proof he was obsessed with drama, desperate for relevance. But one platform had seen enough and was about to end it all. March 2023. The day started like any other. Sneako waking up, checking his phone, ready to prepare for another stream. But this time, his notifications weren't from fans or rivals. They were from YouTube. Termination notice. Both of his main channels gone. Years of uploads erased in seconds. No warning stream, no final sign-off, just gone. The official reason. YouTube's statement cited severe or repeated violations of our hate speech and harassment policies. That's the corporate way of saying, we warned you, you didn't listen. For months, Sneako had been playing a dangerous game, towing the line between edgy commentary and targeted harassment. But now, YouTube had decided he'd crossed it for the last time. Sneako's reaction. Within hours, Sneako was live, not on YouTube, but on Instagram. His tone? Defiant. This is what happens when you tell the truth. They don't want you thinking for yourself. He framed the ban as proof of a bigger conspiracy. Big tech censorship, silencing voices like his. His loyal fans rallied behind him, flooding Twitter with #FreeSneako hashtags. But outside that bubble, the internet's response was colder, even mocking. The internet's verdict. Critics saw it differently. Destiny tweeted, "You can't break the rules over and over, then act shocked when the rules apply to you." Moist Critical posted a subtle jab. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. For many, this wasn't censorship, it was a consequence. They argued that Sneako's growing aggression, personal callouts, and repeated violations had made this outcome inevitable. Without fear of demonetization, Sneako went full throttle. Conspiracies about the media, rants about degeneracy, and endless personal attacks on other creators filled his streams. Even loyal fans started questioning him. His critics began compiling Sneako L's, entire channels dedicated to mocking his worst takes. Brand deals? Non-existent. Mainstream collabs? Impossible. He had built a cage around himself and locked the door. And then came the feud that turned him into a meme forever. It started as a petty argument about video games and masculinity. It ended with Moist Critical pulling out a gun on camera in response to Sneako's rants, and the clip going insanely viral. Moist Critical's calm, surgical roasting made Sneako look ridiculous to millions. The memes poured in. Sneako's defensive rants became reaction content gold. From that point on, his name was less controversial commentator and more punchline. He wasn't feared, he was laughed at. But the echo chamber he'd built would make sure he never stopped talking. By 2024, Sneako's content lived in a closed loop. Every stream, every video catered to his loyal base. The same talking points recycled endlessly. Outside that circle, he was invisible. Inside, he was untouchable. His fans saw him as a martyr. The problem? Echo chambers don't grow. And Sneako's days of reaching millions were over. But every villain arc has at least one shot at redemption. There were flashes, small moments where Sneako hinted at change, apology streams, reflections on his past mistakes. But every time, the same cycle played out. Controversy, backlash, doubling down. By now, his reputation was too far gone. Some fans still believe he can reinvent himself, that the old Sneako could return. Others think the villain role is permanent. And that brings us to where he is today. Today, Sneako stands as one of the internet's most divisive figures. To fans, he's proof that speaking your mind comes at a cost. To critics, he's a warning. Outrage may build your brand, but it can also burn it to the ground. He had the talent to become a YouTube great. Instead, he became a case study in self-destruction. So what happens next for Sneako? Will he disappear into irrelevance or make one last reinvention? Because if you thought this fall was wild, wait till you see the influencer who faked his own death for clout.